emotions, but disgust, pain, that's what creates change. So we got to create a little bit of pain. The reason why is because the way we live our lives, especially the motto YOLO, right? You ever heard that? YOLO? Right? For the more mature people, carpe diem, right? And what happened is somewhere down the line, right? Ancient philosophy, Socrates, when they created carpe diem, I'm pretty sure when he meant life is short. Seize the day, seize your life. Right? YOLO, you only live once, but somewhere down the road we confuse that message of making the most out of our life into as an excuse to speed up the process. But here's what's crazy. I want to ask you some difficult questions. And that's how you're going to understand why Seacret. Are you ready? If you were to die today, would you be happy with how your life turned out? If you were to die today, would the people you love fully know how much you love and care about them? Would you have shown them in a way that they'll know? If you were to die today, how would you be remembered? Would people only talk about you during the anniversary of your death or your birthdays or in distant memories in the past tense? Or would they talk about the legacy you left behind? See, a lot of us, we chase something called immortality, but the secret to immortality is not to live forever. The secret to immortality is to create something that will. So again, why Seacret? Because of time. There's different vehicles, there's different things you can do to become successful. But if we only have one life to live, wouldn't it make sense to just get there as fast as we can and enjoy the rest of our lives? Yeah. How many of you are doing this because you have parents that you want to retire because they work so hard? How many of you are doing this because you have children that you want to raise them, be there for them, instead of having internet and TV raise them? It's that way that they can have their mom and dad be there with them. How many of you are doing it for your children? How many of you are doing this for your husband, your wife, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, people that you love? Well, here's what I want to tell you. If you're doing this for your children, how many of you realize that no matter who you're doing this business for, whether it's for you or for them, that the moment you get involved in this business, you notice that they don't put their lives on hold for you? It's not like your children are saying, hey, now that you're getting started in this business, I know you're doing it for me, so I'm not going to grow old and I'm going to wait for you to figure your stuff out. It doesn't happen. So the reason why I say why Seacret is because life is short. We need to make a decision now. With 3 months left at the end of the year, here's what I hope for you. I hope for you that when you walk out of here, that you make a decision that you're going to make sure you close this year, this chapter of 2013, with success, and that you will begin the chapter of 2014 with opportunity. Is that okay? But the only way for you to do that is to make a decision. The only way for you to do that is to take action. Now here's what I learned in this business is that I learned that products don't move products. As great as the products we have, how many of you realize that they don't go out there and sell themselves? And I've learned that people don't move products. You're like, what does that mean? Don't people have to go out there and talk to people? Don't people have to go out there and share people the product? Absolutely. But here's what I've learned is that everybody knows what to do, but they don't do it until they understand why they need to do it. So what it comes down to fundamentally is products don't move products, people don't move products. People who are moved move products. And that's what I want to do for you today. I want to move you so when you leave, you have a different appreciation of your life, you have a different appreciation for what's about to happen. Why? Because they say in an average person's lifetime, you have two great opportunities will come into you in your life. How do you know whether this is your first or your last? And that's the question I want to ask you. If you were to die today, now the next question is, what are you waiting for? Because you already know what to do, so the next question is, what are you waiting for? The people in your life, the people you care about, they're not going to wait for you. See, we all want to become successful. The reality is that the plan that everybody else is on, why Seacret? Let me break it down to you. They did a study of 100 college graduates, and out of 100 college graduates, only 1% became wealthy. That's defined by the U.S. government of a net worth of $2 million and above. How many of you want to become a multi-millionaire by show of hands? Yes. Congratulations, you have a 1 in 100% chance. You're like, I'm supposed to be inspired. No. You're supposed to wake up, right? 4% are financially independent. That means you're making a net worth of $100,000 and above. That makes up the top 5%. And that's why they say the top 5% of people control 95% of the wealth. How many of you heard that before? Yes. Now here's what's crazy. You break it down. Where do the majority of people end up? See, 5% of people are still working by the age of 65. Now imagine at 65 years old, you're still going out there to work. Now you don't have to take my word for it. There's evidence of this all around you. Late at night when you're going to the store, a Walmart, a Target, or whatever it is, who's the person greeting you at the door? Is it a younger person or older person? Are they there because they want to be, because they have to be? Now, how I grew up in the Asian culture is that the elders raise you, and as they get older, it's your turn to take care of them.
Right.
But can you imagine going through so much in your life, taking care of so many people that you still have to work at age 65? It's crazy, right? 36% of people are dead by the age of 65. Game of life was too hard, they mentally checked out. Now here's what's crazy. The number one cause of death in America is heart disease. Number one cause of heart disease is stress. What do you think causes the most stress? Okay, you know, money, right? You know, thank goodness, right? Did the same meeting in Atlanta, and they were like, my husband, my wife, my kids. I'm like, I hope they're not in the room, right? You know, it's crazy. You know, different parts of the world, different parts of the country, they have different cultures and how they represent things. You know, we call it the wow factor, MTF factor. In Atlanta, they go the damn factor. You know, like probably it doesn't work back. It's like damn, right? But 36% of people are dead. And here's what's crazy: from Monday mornings from 6 to 9 a.m., the rate of heart attack goes up by 33%. Now, what days do we hate the most? Mondays. What time do we leave for work? 6 to 9 a.m. Can you imagine going to a job you already hate and your boss, your heart attacks you for it? And then 54% of people wish they were dead. They're dead broke. And that makes up the top 95%. Now the reality is this: if you had a choice, would you rather be part of the 5% or 95%? 5%. Now here's what I learned. I said, man, when I saw this for the first time, I was like, why is 95% broke? Why are they living paycheck to paycheck? Why are they not living the lives that they want? I didn't quite understand it. And my mentor asked me, he goes, Julian, why do you think that is? And I go, because they failed to plan. He goes, Julian, let me tell you something. People in life, they don't plan to fail. How many of you, when you're a child, when you're growing up, and they ask you, what did you want to be when you grow up? Did you respond, I can't wait till I grow up and be middle-aged and be in debt and not have time, not have money to be able to marry somebody that I love, but not be able to spend time with them? That the very children that mean the very world to me, that mean more to me than money, I will spend my whole entire life chasing and working for something that's not important while spending time away from the things that are, the people that are. And if we're lucky, we go on one vacation a year. That's maybe less than 100 miles away. Did anybody have that plan? Nobody. So reality is not that people plan to fail, and people didn't fail to plan. Is that most of us were taught a plan that failed. And the plan is that you wake up every morning on Monday from a place called what? Home. And then you go to a place called what? Work. And you do that every single day for the rest of your lives to make somebody else wealthy. Now all I can tell you is this. Before we go forward, I want you to write down how old you are. If you have a phone or a calculator, take it out. If you don't have a phone, you definitely need this business. Okay. So, and what I want you to do is take 365 and multiply that by your age. And that's how long you've lived on this planet so far. And right next to that, I want you to write the number 28,105. And if you do the math, you will know how many days you have left on this planet. And again, if you were to die today, would you be happy with how your life turned out? If you were to die today, would the people in your lives know that you fully loved them and cared about them? That if you died today, how would you be remembered? So why Seacret? We're going to talk about that, right? Why Seacret? Because a lot of us, we're sold on a plan that doesn't work. So let's take it a step further. Can we take it a step further?
Yes.
Some of you that, see me speak before, I use this example quite a lot, but it puts things in perspective. Why? We have a system here today called Seacret University, where anybody can get started. Here's what's amazing. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your experience, your social status, your economic status. It doesn't matter. You can get started day one, follow a simple, proven system, and become successful. And I can prove it to you. Why? The 35 people that made over 6 figures, it's a wide spectrum of different individuals and personalities that you will be able to find something you relate to. And you're like, why Seacret? What are the chances that I can succeed in Seacret? Let me tell you the chances of failing. Right? Because that's the negative questions, right? I'm not afraid to answer the hard questions. If you're a guest in the room, you're like, what are my chances of failing? How many people quit? How many people fail? The same number as everything else. Like what's the percentage of people that quit Seacret? The same percentage of people that quit school. What are the percentages of people that quit Seacret? The same as the people that quit their job. Now my question to you is, do you want to compare yourself to the worst numbers, or do you want to compare yourself to what's possible? Because if you want to talk about both, I can prove it to you right now. I'm here to share this with you because in my life I realize that time is the most valuable thing in the world, because the time we spend together right now, the next 20 minutes, that's 20 minutes of your life that you'll never get back. Does that make sense? It's 20 minutes of my life that I'll never get back. So if you really think about it, it's actually very, very special, kind of romantic in a way, that I gave you a piece of me, you gave me a piece of you. And it's a moment that we'll always share these memories. But what's crazy about it is we don't realize that the time that we spend, we can never get back. And yet we live our lives as if we will always have tomorrow. Every day you get older, but so is your parents, so is your children. And what's crazy about it is I want to tell you the good and the bad, right? You're like, what are the chances? Why Seacret? I'll prove to you why Seacret right now. You already wrote down your age. You already wrote down how many days and you've already lived on this planet. So right next to that, I want you to write down how many years you spent working. Don't worry, no one's going to look. Whatever. Just write down. So write down how many years you spent working in the workforce. And right next to that number, write down how much money you have saved in your bank account. Yeah, that's right. Now, why Seacret? Why Seacret? Because let me ask you a question. You spent that many years working, and you have that much money in your bank account. That means you committed, and you sold out to a plan and a system where you showed up when you didn't want to. If you had to wear a uniform, you didn't feel comfortable, you showed up. Where if your boss mistreated you, you had to take it because you didn't want to lose your job. That if your children was sick, but your boss needed you there, you still showed up to work while your child was at home sick. That if your child had a play, if your child had a game, you couldn't show up because you still had to work. That you were committed to. Why? Because you didn't want to lose that paycheck, yes or yes? Yes. So you committed to that job 100%. And that was the result, the number you have saved in your bank account. So why Seacret? Well, the last 2 years we promoted over 4 7-figure earners. In the last 2 years we promoted over 35 6-figure ring earners. And how they got started was just like you and I. They were exposed to the opportunity, they were exposed to the product, they got involved, they made a list, they identified the why, they went out there and made calls, they built their business, they had people quit, they had people join, and they just followed the system. And in 2 years, that was the result. Over 35 people that made over $100,000 that got started at the bottom. Over 4 people that made over $1 million that got started at the bottom. So why Seacret? At your job, in the last 2 years, how many people have gotten started at the bottom, at an entry-level position, and have made now 6 figures? At your job in the last 2 years, how many people got started at the bottom, and are now making 7 figures? 0. So you committed to a system, to a plan where you had a 0% chance. And yet you're scared to take full advantage of an opportunity where you actually have a chance. You're like, what are the chances? A lot better than what you're doing right now. That's why Seacret. Because let me ask you, let's just say you worked hard for the next 5 years. You were coachable. You showed up to all the events. You got on all the conference calls. You were excited. You learned the system. Right? You let things make you better, not bitter. In 5 years, is it safe to say, in 5 years, if you work the plan, you work the system, is it safe to say that it's possible for you to make $100,000 a year? Yes. It's possible, right? Now what if you didn't do Seacret, and you quit, or you didn't join, and you went back to your job for the next 5 years? What are the chances you'll make $100,000? That's why Seacret. Because here you have a chance. Because time doesn't wait for anybody. That's why I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to take advantage of the moment we have right now. See, so many of us, what do? We worry about our past. But the reality is our past has already happened. How many of you notice that? We can't go back and write a new beginning. You can't. It's already been written. But what I can tell you is this. Other people are so busy worrying about the future that the future hasn't come yet. That's why it's a mystery. But all we have is today, the present. That's why it's called the present, because it's a gift. All we have is right now. That's the only thing we're sure of. The word now, you know what it means? It means no opportunities wasted. What I can tell you after becoming successful and making the money I've made and having the cars, traveling, is that in life, after becoming successful, I don't regret the things I did. I regret the things I didn't do when I had the chance. And when those opportunities pass, you'll never get it back again. Here's what I can tell you. Is that the secret to taking advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime is to take advantage of it in the lifetime of the opportunity. The secret's not going to be brand new forever. How many of you notice that? Yep. Yes. Look at LA. Do you know when LA got started? I remember I was there at the first meeting. There was about 30 people there. How many of you can agree there's a lot more than 30 people? Yes. that I promise you this might be the first time you hear about Seacret, but it's definitely not going to be the last time. So why Seacret? Why for you? Because this is the average person's best chance. Because we accept you. No matter where you come from, we accept you. We don't ask you about what you've done in the past. We don't ask you about a resume. What we ask you is what's inside you. What we ask you is where you want to go. And you know what we do? We lock arms with you. We ask you, what's your vision? And here's what's crazy about it. Imagine being in this environment. Why Seacret? Because in this environment, the only way for me, Jesse, Patty, for all the leaders in the room to go further and accomplish their goals and their dreams is to help you accomplish your goals and your dreams. Now that's how you feel emotionally, but let's talk about logically. If you're in the business and you're in someone's pay side, if you do $0 in sales, they're going to get 15% of your zero, which is what? Ain't nobody got time for that. You know that? Like these people. They just want me for my money. Okay, well you join, you do nothing. We make nothing. That's why if you notice, when the presentation was over, nobody pushed, nobody begged. We're not those kind of opportunities. We know what we have. And what we're looking for is we're looking for the ones that are looking. So why Seacret? How do you know Seacret's right for you? Do you have an unmet need? Reach down inside you. Imagine what it is that you really want. What's something that you have in your life that you're willing to die for, that you want to live for? And I promise you, these questions are hard because when was the last time someone asked you about your goals and your dreams outside of Seacret? When you went to your job interview, they sat you down after they looked at your resume, did they say, okay, what's your dream car? What's your dream home? Let me show you how to get it. But isn't that what happens when you sign up here? That you start to dream again, you start to live again. They ask you, when you sit down at your job, did they ask you how much money you want to make? No. See, when you go sit down at a job interview, what do they look for? They look for the person that's willing to do the most amount of work for the least amount of pay. What are you looking for? The person that's willing to pay you the most for the least amount of work. And that's the kind of relationship you have for the rest of your life. But let me tell you why Seacret. The reason why Seacret is not for you to become wealthy, it's not for you to make a lot of money. It's really for you to have your time back. Because if money was the thing,